was out of respect, because it is the custom of the language. Like in every language, in references, other ordinary references, we turn a singular into a plural. Instead of saying thou, you say aap, or in English you. In Urdu, instead of saying you, tu is thou, we say aap, which is a plural. So plurality in many contexts has a sense of respect. And in some languages, even the proper nouns are pluralized just out of respect. So that was no argument. They knew the laws of the language, yet they permitted this word to remain exactly the same instead of translating it. So the earlier scholars couldn't have missed the point. They were expecting somebody of this name. But when he did appear, then they began to change it. So it became controversial afterwards. Now, in case of Ahmad, also, we have the word Ahmad found in the New Testament, discovered from a monastery in Syria. The original words, which are not accepted by all scholars, were Ahmad. Now the word Ahmad can be translated as well as it can be kept as a proper noun, and it is closest to Ahmad. So again a debate begins. But it should be strange to everybody that the Holy Quran mentions two names, and names very close, very similar to those, are actually found in the Old Testament and New Testament. So there has to be something in it. So that is one prophecy which I want to point out, and the one he already has mentioned perhaps briefly, but if it is to be elaborated, I will only say this much, that the coming of Christ, the second advent I mean, was related to some heavenly events, when the moon will be darkened and the sun will cease to emit light. The same expression is used in the Holy Quran, that Shams فإذا برق البصر وخسف القمر وجمع الشمس والقمر, that when the sight will be dazzled by what? By seeing the moon darkened and the sun joining moon in this. Now, what is the meaning of joining moon in this? Why do you say sun will also be darkened? This is explained by a hadith of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he said that the Mahdi, our Mahdi, when he appears, two heavenly signs will be shown in his favor, which have never been shown before in favor of any other claimant. And the words of Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam are, إن لمهدنا آيتين لم تكون منذ خلق السماوات والأرض أولها أن ينكسف القمر في أول ليلة من رمضان وتنكسف الشمس في النصف منه ولم تكون منذ خلق السماوات والأرض. He said, for our Mahdi. You know, the title of Mahdi is perhaps quite familiar nowadays. Imam Mahdi you have heard, and at least you must have heard of the bloody Mahdi who appeared in Sudan. So that means Prophet Muhammad predicted many a Mahdi to appear. How will you recognize the Mahdi who is prophesied by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah as belonging to him? This was the question raised by him. He said, for our Mahdi there will be two signs which cannot be tampered with at all by human beings. They are heavenly signs, completely out of human control, out of human reach. Awwaluha, the first of them is that the moon will be eclipsed. and on the first night. And the second is that the sun will be eclipsed in the middle of the days. These things, both these signs will appear in one single month, and the name of that month will be Ramadan. And this as a sign has never appeared before. Now, so many conditions are put together, that is why the word Jumu'ah, they will be brought together, is spoken of, is used instead of saying sun will also darken. They will not darken separately at different times. They will be brought together as a sign, packed in a small short space of 1 month. And the name of that month is also mentioned as Ramadan. So the question is, did this sign appear in favor of Masih Maud, whom we call the promised Messiah, or not? No, it's a matter of history. You can go to any observatory or write to them to send you the records of the period which I am going to tell. Exactly the same thing happened, which had been predicted from that time 1300 years before. Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam, the founder of the Ahmadiyya community, officially declared the Jamaat on 23rd of March, only 2 days ago in this year, but 23rd of March of 1889. And he claimed to be the Mahdi, the Messiah, all that was predicted about the future reformer. And there was no sign of any sun or moon's eclipse, and for them to be eclipsed together in 1 month, this was completely out of reach for any man. The observatories of that period also never mentioned such a thing, because I have discussed this matter with knowledgeable people, highly knowledgeable people. They say such a prediction is even today is not possible, because the moon's phases are so variable that it's not possible for us to definitely determine that these things will happen in 1 month and also will be seen from one single horizon. It's another problem which is related to this. You know, sun can be eclipsed and moon can be eclipsed together in 1 month, but moon can be seen eclipsed from one area and the sun from the other. Both cannot be seen together from one single horizon. This is a single vantage point appearing in the same horizon. So these were all the problems involved. And every non-Ahmadi scholar, Muslim, not every but many of course, started demanding from him, all right, if you are true Mahdi or true Messiah, show us the sign. How can you have the moon eclipsed and the sun eclipsed exactly according to the description of the prophecy? In 1894, this appeared. Exactly as it had been predicted. On the 13th of Ramadan that year, the moon was eclipsed. And on the 28th of that Ramadan, the sun was eclipsed as well. Now, the only question which remains to be discussed is, how can these two dates be called the first and the middle? We believe, and which is scientific, and there is no other possibility left to us but to believe, that by the first, he meant the first of the eclipse nights. By the middle day, he meant the middle of the eclipse days of the sun. And they are fixed by God and they cannot be changed. The moon always gets eclipsed either on the 13th or 14th or 15th. These are the three fixed days, because they relate to the relationship between the movement of moon, earth and the sun. Similarly, sun can never be eclipsed beyond the 3 dates of 27th, 28th, 29th. And 28th is the middle. 13th is the first of the moon's eclipse. So the founder of the Ahmadiyya community not only pointed out to this, but also mentioned that your own scholars earlier had been interpreting it like this. They said the moon will be eclipsed on the 13th. Where did they read